Well, we'll get lots more earnings out next week. It'll be a big week, in fact, for retail. We're going to be looking at the grocery sector in particular. Here in Canada, Metro and Loblaw both report next week, midweek. And then we'll also have two giants out of the U.S., Target and Walmart. They are set to report midweek as well. There's the two grocers here in Canada, and then the retailers in the U.S. Of course, when you're thinking of Target and Walmart in particular has a big grocery component to it. Target as well. Of course, we don't have Target here in Canada to see that firsthand anymore. But for more perspective on these two retailers and more, let's bring in Arun Sundaram. He's a senior equity researcher with CFRA Research. Arun, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So
Target and Walmart are big ones. A lot of eyes will be on the two of those in particular. And I am curious just how big of a share or how much importance groceries are to these retailers these days when we know that consumers have been pulling back on spending on extras, on other stuff that they might be selling.
Right. Yeah. No. That's you hit it right there. So Walmart is a much larger food retailer than Target. In Walmart U.S., about 59% of Walmart U.S.'s sales go into that food category, whereas for Target, it's only about 20% of their annual sales. So if you think about it, if you're a consumer and you go into Walmart, you go in there to buy your groceries, and then you supplement those groceries with other purchases, things like household products or maybe apparel, things like that. But when you're a consumer going into Target, for example, you primarily go in there to buy discretionary goods, and then you usually supplement that with groceries. So the purpose of your trip to these two retailers are vastly different. And I think that's why Walmart right now is doing much better than Target. It's because, one, it's a low price retailer known for its everyday low prices, but two, it's because it has that very large grocery business, and that's the primary reason people do shop at a Walmart.
Yeah, that's really interesting what the draw would be that would bring people in, the sort of order of things like you laid it out there. I think I saw that Target CEO was talking about how people were even pulling back on spending on groceries. Is that something that you're seeing more widely when you're thinking about spending on groceries even at Walmart? Are people pulling back, or is that something you're going to be looking for?
Yeah, no, that's a theme we've been seeing for the past several quarters. Really, now it's been a little bit masked in the sales results because a lot of retailers are hiking up prices. So sales have been holding up just fine. But if you really dissect that sales growth and dissect it between pricing and volumes, volumes have been down for most retailers, and the reason is because consumers are buying less. So the basket sizes are shrinking. They're putting one or two less items into their basket each time they shop at a grocery store. Many of them are trading down. They're buying more private label, more value goods than those premium goods. A lot of them are even trading out of certain categories. They're just simply not buying certain things. And even that in their house, consumers are doing what they can to stretch their budgets. They're destocking their pantries. They're utilizing more leftovers. All these are signs of a stressed consumer, and that theme is likely going to play out through the rest of this year and likely into 2024.
What are you expecting on the pricing front? We've talked about it a lot here in Canada. The grocers, in fact, were called to Ottawa to speak with the government, and they asked the grocers to find ways to stabilize prices. We are seeing food inflation decelerating. It's still high, but not as high as it had been. What are you expecting on that front?
Yeah, so I mean, the positive is I think we've already seen the peak of food inflation. That was earlier this year, and since then, food inflation has been coming down. But again, to your point, we're still in a food inflationary environment. So even though food prices are now, about 3-4% up year over year, that's on top of a high single-digit percent increase last year. So if you look at things on a 2-year basis, food prices are up 20% plus. And that's clearly been a struggle with the consumer. But I think going through the end of this year, we'll continue to see food disinflation, so food inflation coming down. And then in 2024, I think the big debate is on whether we hit food deflation, so actual prices coming down year over year. I think that's still something that has to be debated. But signs are looking like we could see in some categories at least some food deflation, especially now that a lot of retailers are discounting and promoting a lot more just to try to entice more consumers to come into their stores and try to increase that basket size. I think we could potentially see some food deflation in 2024.
Deflation, as in prices actually going down, disinflation just being lower inflation. I wonder on that deflation part, is that competing for consumers' dollars, like you mentioned on the promotion side of things, we might see that sort of thing ramp up, you think?
Yeah, no, I certainly think we're heading into a much higher promotional environment. If you look at the past few years, promotions and discounts were actually significantly down. One of the reasons is because everyone was facing supply chain issues. So in actuality, in order to avoid exacerbating some of those issues, it was prudent not to discount and promote. But now that pretty much the supply chains issues are put aside, we're seeing a lot more retailers reintroduce promotions and discounts. It's not that deep yet, meaning they're not seeing steep discounts and promotions, but I think it's starting to form right now. So that'll be one lever for food deflation next year. And then the other lever is just some commodity prices have come down. If you look at some agricultural commodities like corn, soybeans, those kind of things, prices are coming down. And I think it just takes some time for it to make its way through the supply chain and into the grocery aisles. So I think in some fresh meats, some produce, we could see some food deflation there next year.
And you're also seeing competition ramping up from some other retailers like dollar stores.
Right. Yeah. So, predominantly in the past, when you look at dollar stores like Dollar Tree, Dollar General, they were mainly selling goods, mainly a lot of discretionary goods. But now a lot of these discounters and dollar stores are starting to sell groceries into their store. So in the past, that wasn't a big, Dollar Tree and Dollar General. They weren't necessarily competitors with, like a Walmart, but now they are. They're becoming competitors by introducing food. You're also seeing other discounters expand. Companies like Lidl and Aldi, they're rapidly expanding across the United States. You're seeing even club stores like Costco, BJ's, and Sam's Club. They're all expanding across the country as well. And then lastly, you can't forget about Amazon and what they're doing in the grocery space. Several years ago, they bought Whole Foods. And more recently, they've opened up their own banner called Amazon Fresh. And last year they kind of put things onto pause for Amazon Fresh. It wasn't going according to plan, but they kind of reinvented their strategy in Amazon Fresh, and they're starting to reopen some of those Amazon Fresh stores. They started in Chicago. They're starting in LA right now as well. I think they'll be a formidable competitor as well because clearly Amazon has a strong brand reputation.
Okay.